Spring training is heating up in Dunedin, and the Toronto Blue Jays just received the kind of news that makes general managers sprint to their phones. A bombshell report from the Athletic's Ken Rosenthal has dropped, and it's the kind of opportunity that could transform the Blue Jays bullpen from a question mark into an exclamation point. We're talking about a dominant left-handed reliever who's not just available, but practically perfect for what Toronto needs right now. The buzz started building about a month ago when analysts began connecting the dots between the Tampa Bay Rays' roster surplus and Toronto's glaring needs. But yesterday's revelation from Rosenthal took this from speculation to serious possibility. The Rays are actively fielding calls about Garrett Clevenger, their elite southpaw reliever, and the timing couldn't be more perfect for Ross Atkins and the Blue Jays front office. Let's talk about Garrett Clevenger for a moment, because this guy isn't just some middle relief arm. This is a pitcher who put together one of the most dominant seasons from the left side last year, posting numbers that would make any contending team drool. We're talking about a 2.35 ERA across 61 innings of work, which is substantial for a reliever. That's not a small sample size fluke, that's sustained excellence over an entire season. The advanced metrics tell an even more compelling story. Clevenger ranked in the 97th percentile for whiff rate and the 96th percentile for strikeout percentage. Those aren't just good numbers. Those are elite, shutdown caliber statistics that put him among the best relief pitchers in baseball. His whip sat at a microscopic 0.95, and he was striking out 12 batters per 9 innings. When Clevenger takes the mound, hitters aren't making contact, and when they do, they're not doing much damage. What makes this particularly intriguing is that Clevenger isn't a rental piece. He's under team control through 2027, meaning whoever acquires him isn't just getting a few months of production. They're getting a foundational bullpen piece for the next 3 seasons. For a Blue Jays team trying to maximize their competitive window while Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette are still in their primes, that kind of sustained value is enormous. The 31-year-old lefty throws absolute gas and features a diverse arsenal that keeps hitters constantly off balance. He mixes a slider, sinker, four-seam fastball, sweeper, and cutter, giving him weapons against both left-handed and right-handed batters. His baseball savant page looks like someone went wild with a red marker. Nearly every metric shows up in the top percentiles, from strikeout rate to expected batting average against to hard hit percentage allowed. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, Clevenger does give up some home runs. Yes, he issues more walks than you'd ideally want from your lockdown reliever. But here's the thing about those walks. When you're striking out batters at the rate Clevenger does, and when you're generating weak contact as consistently as he does, those walks become far less damaging. The proof is in the results. A 2.35 ERA doesn't lie. Looking at his track record over recent seasons paints a picture of consistency and reliability. The year before his breakout 2024 campaign, he posted a 3.75 ERA. The year before that, he was right around 3. This isn't a guy who stumbled into one good year. This is a pitcher who's been steadily improving and finally put it all together to become one of baseball's most feared late-inning weapons. For the Blue Jays specifically, Clevenger represents the missing piece in what's shaping up to be a completely revamped bullpen. Toronto has already made significant moves this offseason, bringing in Tyler Rogers to add veteran savvy and another reliable arm. They've got Jeff Hoffman returning, Genesis Cabrera bringing left-handed power, and Yimi Garcia providing another experienced option. But beyond that core group, the depth gets murky fast. Brendan Little is an intriguing young lefty, but he's largely unproven at this level. Mason Fluharty has potential but remains a question mark. The Blue Jays have assembled pieces, but they're still one dominant arm away from having a bullpen that can match up with the elite relief corps in the American League East. Adding Clevenger would vault them into that upper echelon immediately. The beauty of this potential acquisition is how perfectly Clevenger's profile fits what the Blue Jays desperately need. They need left-handed power in the bullpen. They need high strikeout arms who can get crucial outs in tight situations. They need someone who can handle high-leverage spots in the 7th and 8th innings to bridge the gap to Jordan Romano in the 9th. Clevenger checks every single one of those boxes with authority. From a pure baseball fit standpoint, you couldn't draw up a better target if you tried. The question becomes whether Ross Atkins can actually pull off the deal. Trading within the division is always tricky, and the Rays aren't known for giving away valuable pieces without extracting serious value in return. Tampa Bay's front office is widely regarded as one of the sharpest in baseball, and they didn't build their reputation by getting fleeced in trades. The Rays are also in an interesting position organizationally. They're coming off a disappointing season and appear to be in a bit of a reset mode, but they're not exactly tearing down for a full rebuild either. They're the Rays, which means they're perpetually competitive despite operating on a fraction of the budget that teams like Toronto enjoy. Trading Clevenger would signal they believe they can replace his production internally, which given their track record of developing elite relievers, isn't far-fetched. Here's where it gets complicated for the Blue Jays. Because Clevenger is so good, Because he has multiple years of control remaining, and because multiple teams are reportedly interested, the price tag won't be cheap. The Rays will demand real talent in return. We're not talking about a team's 15th ranked prospect and a lottery ticket. Tampa Bay will want someone who can help them now or in the very near future. That said, relievers historically don't command the same prospect hauls that starting pitchers or position players do, even elite ones. The Blue Jays have rebuilt their farm system over the past few years and have the ammunition to make a deal like this happen without gutting their future. They likely won't need to part with any of their top 5 prospects, but they'll probably need to give up someone in that next tier who has real upside. The calculus for Atkins should be straightforward. The Blue Jays are in win-now mode, whether they want to admit it publicly or not. Their core position players are in their prime years. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is entering what should be one of his peak seasons. Bo Bichette, despite a down year in 2024, remains a dynamic talent. George Springer can still impact games when healthy. This roster is built to compete for championships right now, not 3 years from now. Given that reality, trading prospects for proven major league talent, especially in an area of need like the bullpen, makes perfect sense. Prospects are valuable, but they're also uncertain. Garrett Clevenger isn't uncertain. He's a known commodity who's proven he can dominate at the highest level. When you're trying to win a World Series, you need certainty in October, and Clevenger provides exactly that. The timing of Rosenthal's report is particularly interesting because we're still in that strange pre-spring training period where most teams are finalizing their rosters but still have flexibility to make moves. The Rays putting out feelers on Clevenger now suggests they're serious about moving him before opening day, which could work in Toronto's favor. The trade market tends to be less frenzied now than it is at the deadline, potentially driving the price down slightly. What would a Blue Jays bullpen look like with Clevenger in the fold? Picture this. Jordan Romano closing games, Garrett Clevenger dominating in the 8th inning from the left side, Tyler Rogers mixing in with his submarine delivery for high-leverage spots, Jeff Hoffman providing power from the right side, and Genesis Cabrera and Yimi Garcia filling out the middle innings. That's a championship-caliber bullpen that can match up with anybody in baseball. The psychological impact of adding Clevenger shouldn't be underestimated either. The Blue Jays are coming off a heartbreaking end to their 2024 season. They fell just short of where they wanted to be, and the offseason has been about addressing the weaknesses that prevented them from taking that next step. The bullpen was unquestionably one of those weaknesses. Adding an elite reliever sends a message to the clubhouse that management is serious about winning now and willing to do whatever it takes. Speaking of the clubhouse, all reports suggest the vibes in Blue Jays camp this spring are immaculate. New additions like Cody Povich are talking about rediscovering their love for the game and finding their inner child. Dylan Cease, the ace acquired in a trade with the White Sox, is already building chemistry with catcher Alejandro Kirk. Jesus Sanchez has been described as one of the happiest players in camp. Adding Clevenger to this mix would only enhance that positive energy. There's something to be said for roster continuity and chemistry, and it's clear the Blue Jays prioritize personality and fit when making their offseason additions. Every indication suggests Clevenger would be a seamless fit in that regard as well. By all accounts, he's a professional who takes his craft seriously but doesn't bring drama or negativity to the clubhouse. For a team trying to cultivate the right culture to support a championship run, those intangibles matter. Let's also acknowledge the strategic advantage of acquiring Clevenger from a divisional rival. The AL East is an absolute gauntlet. The Yankees are loaded. The Orioles are young and talented. The Red Sox made significant moves. Even the Rays, despite their budget constraints, remain perpetually competitive. Any edge you can gain within the division pays dividends over the course of a 162-game season. If the Blue Jays can pry Clevenger away from Tampa Bay, they're not just adding an elite reliever to their own roster. They're subtracting that same elite reliever from a team they'll face multiple times throughout the season. Those head-to-head matchups in July, August, and September could easily determine playoff seeding or even who makes the postseason at all. Weakening a rival while strengthening yourself is the kind of move that championship teams make. The financial aspect of this potential deal also favors Toronto. Clevenger is still in his arbitration years and won't become a free agent until after the 2027 season. That means he's controllable and affordable relative to what he'd command on the open market. The Blue Jays have demonstrated a willingness to spend to supplement their roster, but getting 3+ years of an elite reliever without breaking the bank on a long-term contract is ideal. As spring training games begin and we inch closer to opening day, the pressure on Ross Atkins to finalize the roster will only intensify. The Blue Jays have made significant strides this offseason, addressing needs in the rotation with Dylan Cease and adding depth throughout the roster. But the bullpen remains the most glaring area where another impact addition could push them over the top. Ken Rosenthal's report that the Rays are fielding calls on Clevenger isn't just interesting information. It's a clear signal that a deal can be done if the Blue Jays are willing to meet Tampa Bay's asking price. Multiple teams being interested means Toronto can't afford to lowball or play games with their offer. If they want Clevenger, they need to be aggressive and make it happen before another contender swoops in. The chess match between front offices is always fascinating to watch, especially when it involves two organizations as sharp as the Blue Jays and Rays. Both teams employ sophisticated analytics departments and understand player value at a granular level. The negotiations won't be simple, but there's clearly a framework for a deal that makes sense for both sides. For Tampa Bay, moving Clevenger now while his value is at its peak allows them to restock their farm system and continue their perpetual cycle of developing young talent, watching it appreciate in value, and trading it before it becomes too expensive. For Toronto, acquiring Clevenger fills their most pressing need and signals to their players, fans, and the rest of the league that they're all in on winning in 2025. The opportunity is sitting right there in front of Ross Atkins, a dominant left-handed reliever with multiple years of team control, proven performance at the highest level, elite stuff, and a track record of consistent excellence. The kind of player who can be the difference between winning your division and playing in the wildcard round. The kind of player who can shut down opposing lineups in October when every pitch feels like it carries the weight of a season. This is the type of move that Blue Jays fans have been clamoring for. Not a depth piece or a reclamation project, but a genuine difference maker who makes the team better the moment he puts on the uniform. Garrett Clevenger represents everything this roster needs, and according to Ken Rosenthal, he's actually available. The ball is in Ross Atkins' court now. The question isn't whether Clevenger would help the Blue Jays. That answer is obvious. The question is whether Atkins can navigate the complexities of trading within the division, meet the Rays' asking price, and close the deal before another team beats him to it. Based on everything we know about Clevenger's fit with this roster and this team's championship aspirations, this is an opportunity that simply cannot be passed up. What do you think? Should the Blue Jays go all in to acquire Garrett Clevenger? What would you be willing to give up to make this happen? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest Blue Jays news and analysis. Spring training is just getting started, and if this Clevenger situation is any indication, we're in for one wild ride all the way to opening day and beyond. Season!
Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.